Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out over at patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. Also, follow me on X at Packers_access. We got some breaking news here on March the 28th. Here, this beautiful, glorious Saturday afternoon, as we've got another top 30 visit reportedly, all right, is going to be scheduled to meet with the Green Bay Packers. So we're going to dive into that. It's Louisville linebacker/safety hybrid, TJ Quinn. All right. And again, this is somewhat breaking news. We try to put together a quick little scouting report. Let's dive into who TJ Quinn is. All right. As a football player, Ryan Fowler, you guys can go give him a follow over on X at _Ryan Fowler _. He was the first one that I seen break the news here. Louisville, it says source. Louisville linebacker TJ Quinn has a top 30 visit scheduled with the Green Bay Packers. Two-time All-ACC selection, amassed 95 tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, and 2 interceptions in 2025. Again, that news coming out from Ryan Fowler over on X. Let's just dive into it, waste no time. TJ Quinn, who is he? A legacy player and the son of former Louisville standout Terry Quinn. TJ transitioned from safety to linebacker to become the defensive heartbeat of the program, leading the team in tackles for 3 consecutive seasons. You talk about TJ Quinn as a linebacker, right? 6'1", 235 pounds. Let's go back all the way to where it started in high school. Look at that young whippersnapper right there. High school career, Quinn was a decorated multi-sport athlete at Lowndes, I hope I'm saying that right, or Lowndes maybe, high school in Valdosta, Georgia, where he played for Coach Jamie Dubose and his father, Terry Quinn. Safety hybrid. All right, primarily played safety and nickel, earning first-team all-region honors. In his senior season in 2020, he recorded 57 tackles and 3 interceptions, leading Lowndes, I wish I'd done a little research on how to say that, to the state playoffs. 3-star recruit, rated as a top 100 safety nationally. He received over 30 scholarship offers before choosing Louisville over programs like Virginia Tech and NC State. Versatility. Also competed in basketball and track, a background that contributed to sideline-to-sideline rage. He showcased later in college. Now let's move on to the collegiate ranks here. How did he look at the University of Louisville? Collegiate career. Quinn's tenure at Louisville was a masterclass in positional evolution and durability. The transition from 2021 to 2022, after a redshirt year, Quinn appeared in 13 games in 22, primarily on special teams and as a rotational safety, logging 18 tackles. His breakout years came in 23 and 24, moved into a full-time starting linebacker role, and immediately led the team with 91 tackles in 23, earning All-ACC honorable mention. He followed up 24 with 84 tackles, helping the Cardinals reach the ACC championship game. Then he had a great senior campaign in 25, named Third-Team All-ACC. Quinn led Louisville in tackles for the 3rd straight year with 95 stops. He expanded his game as a playmaker, recording career highs in tackles for a loss with 8. He had 3 sacks and 2 interceptions, including a 10-tackle, 2-sack performance against the Kentucky Wildcats. Imagine that, right? So TJ Quinn, when you look at the PFF card from college, starting in 21, 60.8, then he jumped to a 62.5 minimal snaps, and then kind of got more of a prominent role, right? 69.1 in 23, jumped to I fell back slightly to a 67.8 in 24, and then jumped to a career high in college with a 71.4 in 2025. When you break down the defensive grade of 71.4 last year, run defense grade 72.1, pass rush grade 60.4, coverage grade 72.5. So as a linebacker, as a safety, I guess, if you will, if you consider him a safety hybrid, I think he's going to be a linebacker at 6'1", 235. To me, it seems like they're looking at linebacker, probably a good special teams player as well, right? So again, when you kind of look at that, the most important grades, in my opinion, Run defense grade 72.1, coverage grade 72.5. Obviously, you can manufacture pressure at the stack backer position. I'm not worried about the pass rush grade at all. When you look at how he lined up, he was in the box 563 snaps. He actually lined up and mugged the defense, or the offensive line, if you will, playing D-line, 101 snaps. And he played slot corner, which is just an alignment thing where they had to kind of flex him out, probably a schematic approach to trying to counter someone maybe coming out in 12 personnel and then flexing the tight end out, and he had to go over to the slot. 65 snaps there as well. Now, it could have been that they just played him as a slot corner against run-heavy teams too, right? That might have been where those snaps came from as well. We'd have to look at the tape. Now, let's talk about the physical profile and athleticism. We do not have an RAS card. To the best of my knowledge, he was not at the combine. If you guys get that information, fire it in the chat for me. I greatly appreciate that. He had an eraser mentality. Quinn describes himself as an eraser on film. His safety background allows him to track the ball with elite efficiency and fix defensive mistakes in the secondary. His instinctive diagnosis here is he is a highly regarded for his ability to quickly diagnose run versus pass. He rarely takes a false step, allowing him to play faster than his timed speed. He's a form tackler. Unlike many modern, quote, hitters, Quinn is a technician who constantly finishes with proper form, leading to a very low missed tackle rate over 58 career games. That sounds like a coach's son right there, does it not, ladies and gentlemen? Love to hear that, man. Form tackler. This is screaming special teams player is what I'm thinking here so far. Areas for improvement. Size at the point of attack. At 235 pounds, he can struggle to disengage from NFL-sized climbing guards. A lot of duo approaches there, getting the guards at the second level. He's going to struggle with that. And if they get their hands on him first, man coverage nuance. While elite in zone and, quote, big slot matchups, he can occasionally be stressed by elite tier speed when isolated in man coverage against running back / tight end hybrids. You know, we've been talking about Tanner Koziel in this chat, or in this offseason, this draft conversation that we've been having, right? This draft cycle. Somebody like that probably would give TJ Quinn a little bit of trouble if you were to flex that Y out in the slot. However, if you get a slower tight end, maybe more of an attached Y, he could probably cover pretty well. Again, this is still screaming special teams type player. Let's talk about his NFL draft projection. The draft range as it sits right now, it's kind of up and down. What I'm seeing is rounds 5 to 7. Most analysts currently view him as a mid to late round value in that range, or a high priority undrafted free agent. His pro comparison, Drew Tranquill or Landon Roberts. All right, not bad comps there, to be honest with you. Key stats in his career: 277 tackles, 14.5 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks, 3 picks, and 1 fumble recovery. Now, again, when you talk UDFA, where does he sit on our PTA big board? He is 539th on our PTA big board. So this is going to be one of those UDFA top guys. Right now, there's somewhat limited information. I want to point that out. He was not on the consensus big board, so he gets a 600. He was not on the PFF big board, so he gets a 600. So that's going to start him off playing, behind the 8 ball, right? When you go to his PFF grades, at his position, which was linebacker at Louisville, okay, starting in 23, he was 295th at his position. He fell to 364th and then jumped back up to 294. And again, you couple that with the 600, there's no RAS. Obviously, there's no DJ, no Dane Brugler. We'll see where Dane Brugler has him. Maybe Dane Brugler has him 200 or 180 or something, right? That would jump him up our board tremendously. But as it sits right now, with lack of the other information, including the RAS, TJ Quinn is really far down on the board. So again, kind of feels like UDFA camp invite, unless he signs somewhere else, and get him in here to compete for special teams. That's really what it feels like. I'm with you, Coach. Coach says UDFA question mark. That's what it feels like. And again, this is something that both Ted Thompson and Brian Gutekunst like to do with some of their top 30 visits. They like to spend some of their top 30 visits on the guys that they're expecting to be UDFAs. Think Taylor Elgersma last year, right? Get a real good look at him, get some of those questions answered. Hey, do we want to go out and potentially sign him as a UDFA? Now, could he make it into the 5th, 6th, or 7th round? It's possible. We'll see what happens. Now, I don't know if Louisville has had their pro day yet or not. Maybe that'll give us a chance to see some of his versatility in terms of his athleticism, I should say, right? So we'll dive into that a little bit later and see where they're whether or not they've had their pro day at Louisville. So Injury history, medical profile. Quinn enters the draft with an exceptionally clean medical report. He appeared in 54 total games at Louisville, showcasing remarkable durability throughout his transition from safety to the high-impact linebacker position. Now, just want to point this out before we wrap up. Packers are very, very busy meeting with linebackers this offseason, okay? Now, let's talk about what that means. Jake Gutey, they've met with him, okay? He's already got the green bar. That puts him toward the top on our target list here, right? Jake Gutey with a 45.1 grade. He is definitely the highest graded linebacker that the Packers have met with this offseason. Again, that could be East-West Shrine Bowl. That could be Senior Bowl. That could have been the Combine with those 15-minute interviews, so on and so forth, right? Next on the list in terms of who the Packers have met with is Harold Perkins, ran a 4.340 at LSU's Pro Day, right? Now, we still don't have a complete RES for him. We'll try to run that down here really soon. But Harold Perkins, linebacker out of LSU, is on the Packers' radar. So Jake Gutey, potentially pick 52. Harold Perkins, probably going to be 4th, 5th, or 6th round pick, right? And again, when you think 4.340, if he falls that far, I don't know if he will. That 4.340 might propel him up into the 2nd round. You know how these teams are with the Underwear Olympics. That could happen. Next on the list is Eric Hunter out of Morgan State. Small school, graded out really well. 12th at his position in 23, 58th in 25, right? And again, we got 2 500 grades. We need to double check those. We do not have an RES for him. And then AJ Pena, out of Rhode Island, another small school, wrestling background. Packers met with him. Fairly decent grades with the PFF, 67th at his position, dropped to 132nd, jumped back up to 97th there, lacking some information on him. Next is Jalen Brooks, linebacker out of Missouri State. All right, we got a 364 grade on him, 35th highest graded linebacker in college football in 2025. However, again, that's with Missouri State, so very, very small school. And then, of course, you got TJ Quinn at the very bottom here. We've got him listed as 6'1", 235. That's not an official measurement from a combine or a pro day, so we'll see how that goes. Kind of makes me wonder with the lack of information. He wasn't at the combine to the best of my knowledge, right? He was at the American Bowl. I don't know if we're going to count that as an all-star game or not. I'll check with Emilio and see what he thinks. But he was at the American Bowl, so it's okay. This sounds like, hey, we don't have measurables on this guy. His stats look good at Louisville. He comes from a former collegiate level, player pedigree with his dad. His dad coached him. He's a coach's son, high football IQ, good tackler. Let's get him in on a top 30 visit and get our own measurables, right? Let's see what he runs on the 40. Let's see how the doctors check him out because he stayed healthy, remarkably healthy throughout this process. So that's kind of what it seems like to me in this regard. So we'll see how that goes here. I don't know where Daryl got this, but Daryl says TJ Quinn has a 78-inch wingspan. Maybe I missed the information. Again, there's nothing on the RES website. Doing a quick search, it said he was not at the combine, so I don't know. Maybe that was an inaccurate search there. We'll continue to kind of comb through and see if we can get anything else on him. Coach Lynn says, looks like they're meeting with linebackers round by round, early, mid-rounds, late rounds, and not undrafted. So, yeah, it's interesting because, again, I feel like there's more prospects here that they've met with so far that would suggest they're thinking special teams player, round out the linebacker room, Eric Hunter, AJ Pena, obviously Jalen Brooks, and now TJ Quinn. Harold Perkins, kind of middle of the road, so that kind of goes to your point there, Coach. And then Jake Gutey, of course. I don't think you're going to have a good look at him. And listen, that wasn't a top 30 visit, right? I don't think you're going to take a good look at Jake Gutey unless you think, okay, we would be willing to take him at 52, or maybe they're trying to cross him off at 52 and bump him down to 84 and say, okay, we feel better about him at 84 than 52. Who knows? They may trade up for Jake Gutey as well. Only time will tell, though. It's going to be a lot of fun to continue to break down this draft cycle. So let us know in the comments. You're watching this video back later. How do you feel about TJ Quinn, linebacker out of Louisville, another top 30 visit on the board for the Packers? We will see how that visit goes, see if we can get any information leaked out. Typically it doesn't, but one thing is for sure, so far we've got a wide receiver top 30 visit scheduled in Ted Hurst, and now we've got TJ Quinn, linebacker / hybrid safety out of Louisville, as the latest top 30 visit. Let us know. Curious to know what your thoughts are. Hit us up in the comments. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Click the bell icon so you catch future breaking news segments like this and any content that drops on the channel. My name's Clayton. This is PTA. Go Pack, go.
Here we go.
We're out.
Bye, guys.